Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in the province. And now coming to details. Ladies and gentlemen, in the afternoon of December 31st, the Provincial People Committee had a meeting to end the fiscal year 2021. Attending the meeting, there were leaders of the Provincial Party Committee, Provincial People Committee, and leaders of a number of departments and branches in the province.
In 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic brought out on a large scale and seriously affected on production and business activities. But under the active and close leadership of Provincial Party Committee, the People's Council and People Committees of the Ninh Province, along with the close coordination with all levels and sectors in the locality, has contributed to completing the estimate of state budget revenue in 2021. Accordingly, the state budget revenue in the area by the end of December the 30th in 2021 is over 10,000 billion Vietnam dong, reaching more than 116% of the estimates assigned by the central government and reaching nearly 98% of the estimates assigned by Provincial People's Council, in which 5 over 9 district towns and Tay Ninh city exceeded the estimate. The total budget expenditure is more than 10,400 billion Vietnam dong, reaching more than 90% of the estimate and down to 8.5% over the same period. In general, the implementation of local budget expenditure is strictly controlled to ensure that it is in accordance with the purpose, standards, mechanisms and policies prescribed by the state, especially to ensure that expenditures related to prevention and control of COVID-19 pandemic is controlled. On this occasion, the leaders of Provincial Party Committee and People's Council, People's Committee of the Ninh Province presented flowers to congratulate the units with many contributions in the financial and budget work in 2021. And according to the Ministry of Finance, the public investment disbursed in 2021 reached about 77.3% of the target set by the Prime Minister, lower than the rate of 82.66% recorded last year. On the sum, the disbursed domestic capital is equivalent to about 83.66% of the target of this type of funding, while the foreign capital is about 26.77%. By the end of December, 7 ministries and 20 localities have posted a disbursement rate of over 80%, including the provinces of Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu with 95.7% and Long An about 91.4%. Noting several causes for the modest disbursement, the Ministry of Finance pointed to the slow assignment of public investment plan for the new projects, the problems in site clearance, the complex COVID-19 situation, the surge in prices of construction materials, the lack of drastic moves by some ministry and localities, as well as the low quality preparation and limited capacity of some project managers, supervisors, and contractors. Given this, the ministry continued requesting ministries, central agencies, and localities put ahead with implementing the direction issued by the government, the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet's inspection delegation so as to disperse as much public investment capital as possible as ordered by the Prime Minister.
Overcoming difficulties and challenges, especially the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021, the official, civil servant, and employees of the Ninh Provincial Youth Union has already united, made efforts, and been reacting successfully completed the assigned tasks.
With a spirit of solidarity and determination, the Executive Board of Provincial Youth Union has led and directed officials, civil servants, and employees in the whole unit to effectively implement the contents of the activity programs and plans in the year. The organization of activities is effective in quality, well received by the youth union and the people, and recognized by the local authorities. The specialized departments and units and the Provincial Youth Union have made great efforts to complete their assigned tasks. The Grassroots Trade Union and the Grassroots Youth Union of the unit were also evaluated for excellently completing their tasks. Speaking at a conference, Mr. Nguyễn Tiến Tân, standing Deputy Secretary Provincial Youth Union, Chairman of the Grassroots Trade Union of the unit, recognized and highly appreciated the contribution of officials, civil servants, and employees in the implementation of the project of youth union work and youth movement in 2021. At the same time, it is proposed that officials, civil servants, and employees in the Provincial Youth Union continue to promote the achieved results to successfully complete the task in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, with the initiative and flexibly, the banking industry has focused on resource on removing difficulties for production and business, supporting the people and businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, contributing to boosting the economic growth. The latest data from the State Bank of Vietnam shows that with the synchronous implementation of solutions, by the end of December 2021, credit to the economy increased by 12.9% compared to the end of 2020. The growth rates of credit to all economic sectors were higher than the same period in 2020, in which the fields of agriculture, rural areas, supporting industry, and high-tech enterprises were much higher than the general credit growth. According to the State Bank, the total amount of interest and service fee for customers affected by the COVID-19 pandemic from mid-July to the end of November of 16 banks is more than 18,000 billion Vietnam dong, reaching to 87.8% compared to the commitment. In order to direct credit balance into production and business sectors, from the beginning of the fourth quarter of this year, commercial banks have launched several preferential interest rate packages to support customers who access low-cost capital sources to solve difficulties quickly and overcome the pandemic. Commercial banks have not only offered preferential interest rate packages, but also loosened the rate of unsecured loans or accepted off-balance collateral to support businesses, especially small and medium-sized ones that were severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And ladies and gentlemen, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in 2021, the whole country established 1,250 new agricultural cooperatives, bringing the total number of agricultural cooperatives to 19,100 cooperatives. Especially, there were nearly 2,000 agricultural cooperatives applying high technology, 4,100 agricultural cooperatives linking with enterprises in the production, processing, and consumption of agricultural products. Along with that, the country has about 30,000 cooperative groups and nearly 19,700 firms. In addition to investment and development of small and medium-sized enterprises, a number of large corporations and enterprises continue to promote investment in agriculture, especially high-tech agriculture such as Nafos, TH, Tobacco Vietnam, Masan, Lavifood, etc. In the coming time, the ministry will continue to implement synchronous policies to encourage and create favorable conditions for enterprises to invest in high-tech processing industry, improve the qualities and proportion of high-value-added products, reduce production and export of raw products. The focus on implementing projects such as developing the vegetable, fruit, and vegetable processing industry in the 2021 to 2030 period, developing seafood processing industry in the period 2021 to 2030, and preserve and develop crop villages in the 2021 to 2030 period also.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam did not achieve its 2021 economic growth target, but the economic and international organization point to bright spots that are important foundation for growth in 2022.
The fourth wave of the COVID-19 pandemic caused the socio-economic problems of the whole country in general and the province in particular to be severely affected when many provinces and cities had to implement the prolonged social distancing on a large scale. Many businesses face difficulties and bankruptcy when the global supply chain is broken. In that context, Vietnam still achieved and exceeded a number of economic targets, with GDP is increasing by 2%, import and export exceeded to 660 billion Vietnam dong, up to 22.4%, bringing Vietnam into the group of 20 leading economies in terms of international trade, and trade surplus of about $3 billion, attracting foreign direct investment capital reached over $29 billion also, an increase of more than $0.5 billion compared to 2020. Particularly for the Tay Ninh province, despite facing many difficulties and challenges with great efforts and determination of the whole political system, the joint effort to overcome difficulties of all economic sectors and social strata of people, Tay Ninh basically controlled the pandemic and effectively implemented the dual goal of preventing and fighting against the pandemic as well as recovering and developing the economy. According to the Tay Ninh Statistics Office, in 2021, the province's gross product will increase by 0.21% compared to 2020, and with the growth rates of GDP in 2021, Tay Ninh ranked about 53 out of 63 provinces and cities nationwide. The total state budget revenue is estimated at 10,010 billion Vietnam dong, reaching 95.33% of the year estimate, down to 1.1% compared to 2020. In 2021, the province will have about 640 newly established enterprises enterprises with a registered capital of over 8.14 trillion Vietnam dong, established 21 new cooperatives, and up to now, the province has about 160 cooperatives.
Chúng ta thấy rằng trong cái điều
In difficult conditions, almost broken production chains due to the application of social distancing, but maintaining positive economic growth is the right effort of the province. The province still maintain and promote the export conditions, especially in enterprises with investment capital. The foreign investment reached about $5 billion up to 12.2% of the year, is the highest export so far. This shows that the local products and exports have been standing in the market like EU and the US. The province has paid attention to directing and focusing on removing difficulties and clearing bottlenecks in the fields of land investment, planning, granting conditions for attracting resources, focusing on attracting public investment, especially implementing projects, the key projects leading to the socio-economic attraction, focusing on supporting investors to implement projects. In 2022, the risks of the slow economic recovery and growth slowdown still hitting in the context of increasingly complicated pandemic and increasingly risks of inflation. However, economics and international organizations point to bright spots that important foundation for the growth in 2022. The first bright spot is the Vietnamese business community has been very dynamic and flexible in facing pandemic-related difficulties. Forecasting the first quarter of 2022 compared to the fourth quarter in 2021, 91.1% of the enterprises forecast that the cost of production per unit of product would increase and remain the same. The second bright spot is that the foreign direct investment FDI in the country and in the province also, they rank about 12 out of 63 provinces in the country in terms of attracting foreign investment. The foreign investment attraction in the Tay Ninh province reached about $649 million, up to 4.7% of the same period. And up to now, the province has about 339 foreign investment projects with a total registered capital of more than $8,200 million. For Tay Ninh province, right from the beginning of the new year of 2022, the province will focus on performing a number of key tasks such as for achieving the socio-economic target, especially ensure that the risk of the COVID-19 pandemic is controlled, maintain the new normal, and respond flexibly and safely to speed up the pace of life, the levels of production and business recovery, and determining the level points on planning and investment. Focus on researching and promulgating the investment incentive support mechanisms in province in a synchronous manner so that the best investment incentive policies and laws are most favorable for investors and strong investment environment in the direction of friendly, transparent, highly competitive, and pay attention to removing difficulties and supporting on economic sectors, especially small and medium-sized enterprises.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for joining with us and see you next time.